Let me start with a statement that might challenge what you think about women and attraction. Ignoring a woman and giving her distance often makes her come back to you faster than anything else. I know it sounds counterintuitive. Most men think attention, texting, and constant availability are the keys to keeping a woman interested. But the truth is, when you pull back and create space, you trigger something deeper in her psychology. You create curiosity, desire, and respect that constant attention can never produce. Here's the reality. Women are wired to respond to men who value themselves first. When you give her too much of your time, energy, or attention, she starts taking it for granted. She loses the feeling that she has to earn it. On the other hand, when you step back, show self-respect, and focus on your own life, it makes her reassess what she might be missing. She begins to notice your absence, your independence, and the fact that you're not waiting around. That's when her mind starts to turn. She starts thinking about you more, wondering what you're up to, and feeling that pull toward you. This is not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about understanding natural attraction patterns and respecting yourself. Ignoring someone, in the right way, is really about creating boundaries, valuing your time, and demonstrating that your life doesn't revolve around her. And when a woman senses that, she can't help but be drawn back. In this video, I'm going to break down why distance works, how it makes women return, and how you can do it without losing your confidence or seeming disinterested. I'll also explain the psychology behind why absence increases desire, and why too much availability actually pushes women away instead of pulling them closer. Welcome to the channel. If you've ever felt frustrated that a woman drifts away or loses interest the more you chase, stick around. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why pulling back works, how to do it naturally, and why this simple shift in behavior can completely change the way women respond to you. 1. Why absence creates desire. Let's start with a truth most men overlook. When you're constantly available, a woman stops valuing your presence. She assumes you'll always be there, and human nature is wired to take what's abundant for granted. Absence creates desire because it triggers a sense of scarcity, and scarcity naturally increases perceived value. The moment you step back, she starts noticing what she's been taking for granted, and her mind begins to wander toward you more than ever. Think about it like this. When a man pulls away subtly, he's creating a space for her to reflect. She starts asking herself questions. Why isn't he texting? Is he okay? Does he even care? Those questions are not signs of indifference, they're signs of attraction. When you're always around, she doesn't have a chance to miss you. But when you allow distance, even briefly, she experiences a sense of loss and curiosity. That's where desire begins to grow. Here's the key. Absence isn't about ignoring someone completely or being cruel. It's about creating boundaries and valuing your time. A man who has his own life, goals, and priorities signals that he isn't dependent on validation or attention from a woman. That independence is magnetic. She notices your confidence, your self-reliance, and your refusal to chase endlessly. That's when she starts seeing you in a different light. Let me paint a scenario for clarity. Imagine you've been seeing a woman for a few weeks. You've been attentive, always texting back, making plans on her schedule, and showing constant interest. Suddenly, you take a step back. You focus on your gym routine, your work, or your hobbies, and you respond less frequently, not out of anger, but because you respect your own time. Within a short period, she begins reaching out, checking in, and thinking about you more than before. That subtle absence is powerful. You've created space for desire to grow without saying a single word. The takeaway here is simple. When a woman starts returning after distance, it's not manipulation. It's psychology. Attraction thrives on independence, space, and self-respect. Men who chase, overtext, or overcommit create abundance in her eyes, which reduces desire. Those who pull back strategically maintain their independence, and respect their own time trigger a natural pull that's hard to resist. Absence creates desire because it gives her a chance to see what she's missing, to feel the pull of your energy, and to realize that a man who values himself isn't waiting around for approval. That realization is what brings women back, and it works every single time if done correctly. 2. The power of not answering every message. One of the simplest ways to create attraction and make a woman come back is by not answering every message immediately, or at all. Most men make the mistake of thinking that constant responsiveness proves interest, care, and reliability. The reality? Over-texting kills desire faster than anything else. When a woman sees that you're always available, it removes mystery, lowers your perceived value, and reduces the natural pull she feels toward you. Not answering every message isn't about being rude or playing games. It's about demonstrating that your time and attention are valuable. When you respond selectively, she begins to notice your energy, effort, and the fact that your life doesn't revolve around her. This triggers curiosity and makes her wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and why you're not immediately available. That mental space you create for her is the foundation of desire. Think about it. If she texts you and you answer instantly every time, she never experiences your absence. Her brain doesn't need to think about you because she always gets what she wants, your attention. But when you hold back, even just a little, she starts paying attention to the times you're not there. She'll analyze your actions, reflect on her own feelings, and, without realizing it, start missing you. That's the power of controlled distance. Another key point is the difference between availability and obsession. Availability says, I have a life, I have priorities, and I'm choosing how to spend my time. Obsession says, I'll drop everything for her, even if she doesn't respect it. Men who fall into the second category quickly become less attractive. The first category, the one that holds back, has boundaries, and doesn't respond instantly, creates intrigue and positions you as someone worth pursuing. It's also important to be consistent. You don't want to suddenly ignore her completely after being hyper-responsive. That comes off as erratic or manipulative. Instead, gradually create space while maintaining your confidence and social presence. She will notice the shift, and her mind will begin to gravitate toward you naturally. The lesson here is simple. Stop over-communicating, stop chasing approval, and stop proving your interest through constant replies. Your life should come first, and your attention should be selective. The right balance creates respect, attraction, and desire, and it often makes women return without any effort on your part. 3. Distance sparks curiosity and obsession. Distance isn't just about giving her space, it's about creating a mental pull. When a man steps back, he triggers curiosity, and curiosity naturally leads to obsession. Women are wired to notice what they can't immediately have. When you're constantly available, there's nothing to wonder about. But the moment you create distance, she starts thinking about you more than she realizes. She wonders what you're doing, who you're with, and why you're not around all the time. That mental attention is powerful, and it often drives her back toward you. Here's the key. Distance creates space for reflection. Most men make the mistake of flooding a woman with attention, gifts, and texts to keep her interested. But all of that does is satisfy her immediately, leaving no room for desire to grow. When you pull back, she has time to notice what she misses. Your energy, your humor, the way you make her feel alive. She starts craving the parts of you that she previously overlooked or took for granted. The subtle magic of distance is that it gives her mind a chance to work on her feelings. She starts comparing your absence to her experiences with other men, realizing how your presence felt different. That's why giving her space doesn't feel like neglect. It feels like value. You're showing her that your life is full and independent, and that your attention isn't something she can take for granted. That realization is what drives women to return. Another important factor is consistency. You don't want to vanish completely or play extreme games. Distance works best when it's steady and natural. Keep living your life, maintain your priorities, and engage with her occasionally, but never on demand. She notices the balance. You're present enough to maintain connection, but absent enough to create intrigue. That pull is irresistible. Men often underestimate the effect of their absence. They think that ignoring or stepping back will push a woman away, but the opposite happens when it's done correctly. She doesn't just miss you, she starts to obsess over the energy, attention, and unique qualities you bring. That obsession is what motivates her to reach out, initiate conversation, or even come back into your life after pulling away. 4. Why chasing kills attraction. One of the biggest mistakes men make is chasing a woman. Chasing creates pressure, lowers your perceived value, and makes you predictable. When a man chases, he signals neediness, dependency, and a lack of confidence, all of which are major turnoffs. Women are naturally drawn to men who are secure, independent, and selective with their attention. If you're constantly pursuing her, she doesn't feel the pull of desire. She feels obligation or boredom. Chasing also removes mystery. Part of attraction is not knowing exactly where someone stands, feeling like their attention is earned, and appreciating the moments you have together. When you chase, there's no tension, no curiosity, and no opportunity for her to miss you. You're essentially giving her the entire picture too quickly, and that reduces intrigue. Another problem with chasing is emotional imbalance. You're putting her needs, desires, and reactions above your own. You overtext, overcall, or overinvest in someone who isn't matching your energy. This creates resentment over time and reinforces a dynamic where you're always giving and she's always taking. The irony is that many men chase because they want to feel desired, but chasing often makes her value you less, not more. Chasing also signals a lack of boundaries. Women notice when a man can be influenced by her behavior or opinions. If she senses that she can manipulate your attention by pulling away, ignoring, or testing you, she'll do it repeatedly. That's because chasing creates predictability. She knows that no matter what she does, you'll keep showing up. That dynamic kills attraction and sets the stage for frustration. The alternative is simple. Create space, maintain independence, and allow her to wonder about you. When you stop chasing, you flip the dynamic. You're no longer the one giving constantly. You're the one with options, priorities, and a life that doesn't revolve around her. Suddenly, she has to earn your attention, and that's when desire grows. Here's a key point to remember. Attraction isn't about proving yourself or working to win someone over. It's about energy, confidence, and presence. Men who stop chasing naturally create a magnetic effect. Women notice the shift, feel the absence, and start thinking about you more deeply. They start missing your energy, your humor, and the way you make them feel alive. 5. How independence makes you irresistible. Independence is one of the most attractive qualities a man can have, and it's often overlooked. Women are drawn to men who have a life of their own, goals, routines, passions, and social connections that don't revolve around them. When you demonstrate independence, you show that you're self-sufficient, confident, and not desperate for validation. That combination is magnetic, and it naturally makes women come back when you create distance. Here's a situation to make it clear. Imagine a woman you've been seeing starts pulling back, and instead of panicking or over-texting, you focus on your life. You go to the gym, meet friends, work on a personal project, or even take a short trip. You're fully engaged in your world, living with purpose, and not waiting around for her attention. Over time, she notices your energy, your passion, and the way your life doesn't revolve around her. Suddenly, she starts reaching out, wondering what she's missing. Your independence makes you irresistible because it signals that you're not easily obtained and that she needs to earn your attention. Independence also creates respect. Women respect men who have boundaries, who don't let their moods, attention, or emotions be dictated by someone else. When you live independently, you communicate that you value yourself. You're not available on demand, and that lack of availability creates natural desire. She may not realize it consciously, but her brain responds to that scarcity and self-assuredness. Another reason independence works is that it prevents neediness. Neediness is a silent attraction killer. Men who are always available, constantly seeking reassurance, or over-investing emotionally signal that their happiness depends on her. That's a heavy burden, and women instinctively feel it. Independence flips the script. It shows that your life is full and rewarding regardless of her attention, which paradoxically makes her want to be part of it. The key takeaway here is that independence isn't about ignoring her completely or being aloof. It's about having a full life, maintaining boundaries, and prioritizing yourself. When you do this, she doesn't just miss you. She sees the value in being around a man who has options, direction, and confidence. She begins to return, not because you chased her, but because your energy and independence draw her in naturally. In essence, living independently is a form of silent attraction. You don't have to force anything or manipulate feelings. By focusing on your life, your growth, and your purpose, you become magnetic. Women are drawn to men who are complete, confident, and unavailable at times, not desperate or constantly present. Independence creates desire, and desire is what makes them come back. 6. The subtle art of pulling back. Pulling back isn't about ignoring her completely or playing cruel games. It's a subtle skill, a balance between presence and absence that creates natural attraction. Many men think pulling back means being distant, cold, or unresponsive. That's a mistake. The art lies in stepping back just enough to make her notice your value without making her feel abandoned. The key is consistency. You don't suddenly disappear or stop engaging entirely. Instead, you reduce the frequency of texts, calls, or social media interactions in a natural, confident way. You respond thoughtfully, not instantly, and you prioritize your life. When done correctly, she begins to notice the gap in her daily interactions, feel your absence, and start thinking about you more often. That subtle shift is powerful. Pulling back also communicates self-respect. A woman will notice when a man doesn't bend over backward to accommodate her every whim. It signals that your time, attention, and energy are not free for the taking. They are earned. That alone increases desire. She starts to reassess her feelings because your boundaries show that you value yourself, which subconsciously makes her value you too. Another aspect of pulling back is emotional neutrality. You don't overreact if she tests you or pushes for attention. You maintain calm, confidence, and composure. This restraint makes you appear in control, independent, and attractive. Women naturally respond to men who are steady and unshaken rather than desperate for approval or validation. Subtlety is also about timing. You don't pull back for too long or too short a period. Too long, and she may lose interest. Too short, and she won't notice the shift. The goal is to create just enough absence to spark curiosity and reflection. She starts missing your energy, humor, and presence without feeling manipulated or ignored. Lastly, the beauty of pulling back is that it's not about controlling her, it's about controlling yourself. You take charge of your attention, your time, and your life. By doing so, you naturally create attraction, make her desire your presence, and often trigger her to return without a single forced action. Pulling back, when done with confidence and respect, works every time because it aligns with natural attraction principles rather than trying to bend someone's feelings. 7. When she returns, Know your value. When a woman comes back after you've given her space, it can feel like a victory. But it's also a critical moment to reflect on your own value. Many men make the mistake of immediately giving in, overcommitting, or trying to win her back. That's exactly where you lose control and diminish the power of the distance you created. If she returns, it's not about proving yourself. It's about maintaining your standards, confidence, and independence. First, understand why she comes back. Giving her space allowed her to miss you, feel the pull of your energy, and realize your absence. She likely noticed your independence, your focus on your life, and the fact that you weren't constantly available. That combination triggers desire because women respond to men who are self-sufficient, confident, and selective with their attention. She's returning because your energy is attractive, not because she suddenly owes you anything. Here's the crucial point. Don't jump back in exactly where you left off. Take a moment to reflect on your own priorities and boundaries. Ask yourself, am I willing to engage on my terms, or am I giving in out of excitement? Maintaining your value means engaging with her in a way that shows respect for yourself, your time, and your emotional energy. If you give in too quickly, she may take your attention for granted again. Also, use this as an opportunity to evaluate the dynamic. Was her leaving a pattern? Did she frequently pull away in the past? Understanding her behavior is key to deciding whether to continue investing or set firmer boundaries. Walking away or maintaining healthy limits isn't selfish. It's about ensuring that your energy is valued and that you don't repeat cycles of chasing. A constructive reminder for men: distance works, but it only creates long-term attraction if you don't compromise your self-respect when she returns. Confidence isn't just about stepping back. It's about knowing your worth, enforcing your boundaries, and engaging only when it aligns with your values. Women respect men who don't beg for attention, who don't overinvest emotionally, and who keep their lives full and purposeful. Finally, remember that her return is a reflection of your energy and presence, not a guarantee of commitment or loyalty. You've sparked desire, yes, but you've also created a responsibility for yourself to uphold your standards. She comes back because she wants your energy, your confidence, and your presence, but only if you maintain it on your terms. That's the ultimate lesson. Attraction is created by value, scarcity, and self-respect. When you master this, women naturally return, but only if you've earned the right to be respected and desired. Here's a controversial truth many men struggle to accept. Giving a woman space isn't neglect, it's power. When you stop chasing, stop over-texting, and stop over-investing, you create an environment where she starts noticing your value, missing your energy, and reflecting on what she may have taken for granted. That's why distance isn't just a tactic, it's a magnet. Women often return not because of manipulation or luck, but because absence highlights your independence, confidence, and self-respect. The key lesson here is simple. Attraction thrives on scarcity, curiosity, and respect. Men who overextend themselves teach women that their attention is guaranteed, which lowers desire. Men who step back, maintain boundaries, and focus on their own lives trigger natural attraction. When she comes back, it's your chance to assert your standards, engage on your terms, and reinforce your value. That's when you shift from being just available to truly desirable. Now I want to hear from you. Have you tried stepping back or giving distance in a relationship? Did she come back, and how did it feel? Share your experiences in the comments. I read them and will engage with you personally. This isn't just theory. It's a real, actionable principle that changes how women respond when you honor your own life and energy. Remember this: giving space isn't losing control, it's taking it. Women respect men who value themselves first, and that respect is what keeps them coming back. Master the balance of distance and presence, and you'll notice a shift not only in attraction, but in the quality of women who truly want to be around you.